Well, hi everyone. Tonight, for the last hour of daylight, which is pretty bright today, we are at Carburn Park and walking pretty fast. I haven't really taken any images yet, but we're on the lookout for eagles, bald eagles, which often are around here. So this is more of a wildlife adventure. I've got a much bigger lens than the 50mm from the last video. So we'll see what we can find. Definitely geese, lots of geese. Eagles, there's a chance of them up this way. Maybe some other duck species. Usually there's plenty of deer in here. And then possibly coyotes. We'll see. That would be really cool. But primary target is eagles today, and we'll see what else we get. So again, this is one of those situations where I don't know how the next hour or so is going to go, whether I get any shots at all, because it's a wildlife excursion, always a little bit tougher. But well, I guess you need to follow along and you'll find out. So yeah, watch your way, and I'll keep checking in as soon as I can with any updates. I'm going this way. All right, talk to you in a bit. Top of a tree. And I don't know if I can zoom in enough here, but you see there's a little something right above my finger. We're gonna keep going there and we'll see what that is. So you really can't tell from here, but it is an eagle. It's a fair distance away, unfortunately. So even with the 600mm lens cropped in, it's some distance. It has just taken off, so I'm gonna just track it for a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know what I captured on the last video. I did do a quick video, and I was trying to explain that the eagle was too far away, and just as I was doing that, it took off and landed in the field just behind the tree where it was perched. So I hung up that video as quick as I could, grabbed my 200 to 600 just to see what was going to happen. It took off from the field. I've got to figure out settings, I think, because it was in the sky. I just couldn't lock onto it. I was back button focusing, and it was cycling right through the range of focus, so I think that's probably one of the issues. I was zoomed in at 600mm. Maybe I needed to pull back out to 200, 300 just to get locked on first. But ultimately what happened was it zoomed in and out. I saw it a couple of times. I got no shots. And then it ended up landing right in the area of its nest, which I walked by just a week ago. I didn't do any video of that outing. And again, no good shots of the eagle because it was actually sat in the nest. And all I could see was the head. This time, it landed just above where the nest is, so I don't know whether it's gone into the nest or whether it's sitting on a tree just above it, but I'm walking that way, and yeah, I'll see what happens here. I don't know if I'm going to just sit patiently and just wait for the eagle, or whether I'll give it a few minutes and maybe just start wandering around elsewhere to find some of the wildlife. I don't want to leave here with 0 shots, but I mean, that's the wildlife photography world, right? You're never guaranteed to get anything. With the walk that I did last week with the 50mm, I was guaranteed to get at least some detail shots. The eagle just took off again, so I'm gonna stop the video there. I'll check back in. Well, next to Deerfoot Trail, as you can probably hear, which is not ideal. It's a really nice park, and then Deerfoot Trail's right there. What was I gonna say? I really annoyed some geese. I kept walking along this little bit of bank here, and there are 2 of them. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were starting to try and nest or something, but they were giving me a bit of trouble. So I just hung back and let them do their thing. They eventually moved on. The last time I left off, I believe the eagle had took flight. It flew to its original tree, sat there. So again, a little too far away to do anything with. Then promptly flew back to the nest tree, which is where I'm walking a little closer to now. There is no good view of this nest. It's kind of tucked in on an island between the main part of the Bow River and an offshoot. So there's no way of getting there, at least not that I'm prepared to do. I don't have waders on, so I don't want to cross there. I don't think the island is protected. Some islands along this Bow River I know are protected by the city. They're preserved or kind of restoration areas. This one doesn't have any signs on it, so I imagine that this one you can kind of wade across to. And while I'm in my rubber boots, I'm certainly not in waders, and it looks like it's relatively deep on most sections here. So I'm going to get as close as I can to the nest, see what I can see. It seems like this is a home base for the eagle, so I might catch flights to and from the nest. So that's why I'm getting a little closer. Yeah, and again, I'll keep you posted. It's hard to be filming these and then suddenly see it take flight and then have to wrap these up. So for the disjointed video, I apologize. But I will keep checking back in, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, so nothing really happened. I watched the eagle's nest for a while, about 15 minutes or so. The eagle seems to be pretty settled in there now. So with the light setting, I think I'm going to take this opportunity to go back along the river. This is the side channel to the Bow. And in fact, I'm going to climb up just a little bit here because I'm running out of real estate to walk. I'm going to go a little bit into the forest and see what I can find. I know there's black-capped chickadees, if they'll cooperate for me. There's going to be deer somewhere in here for sure. There seems to be a resident herd of them. And again, I'd love to see a coyote. That would be great. But as for the eagle, it looks like bedtime. And the other thing is, the eagle's nest is on a tree on the far side of the island. You can kind of just see it kind of above that little bit of my camera there. It's just a little bump in the tree. It's on the other side of the island, and so I think there's an opportunity to go on that other side along the riverbank from the main channel of the river and see whether there are better opportunities there. It seems like when the eagle's in the nest that the eagle's facing towards the sun, so heading west. And so perhaps that's the thing I need to do the next time I come out. I know the nest is there now, so maybe I need to be on the opposite side of the river looking. That would also help with the sun, because the sun's kind of setting right in front of my lens as I shoot that direction. And if I'm on that side of the river, then I'll have some good lighting as well. Anyway, so I'm walking back down the river, not quite as close to the edge, and I'm gonna cut into the forest here and just start to hunt around and see what else I find. I'll check back in soon. So here's the update. I've seen no wildlife. What I've been focusing on actually is my ever lengthening quest to see owls in the wild. So I've been walking slowly by some old, bigger, gnarly trees to see if there's any sign of owls just hanging out, camouflaging with their surroundings. And only once have I seen something that I was remotely considering as a possible owl, but I quickly zoomed in, and it was just a piece of knotty, gnarly wood. I'm really enjoying this though. What I will say is that when you are shooting wildlife, you have to expect you're not going to get anything. That's a good starting point, because then when you do, you get really excited by it. And in this case, setting my expectations low is a good idea. I've got a shot of a bald eagle in flight at quite some distance, a bald eagle in a tree at quite some distance. I have some geese flying away from me that I'd scared off. And I don't even know if those shots really have turned out. And again, for sake of completeness, I should probably put these in here. But, you know, sometimes the point of photography, unless you're getting paid to shoot wildlife images, in which case I would be very much failing my assignment, but sometimes the point for at least recreational and amateur photography is just getting out and exploring and enjoying the mental benefit of being at peace. I mean, yeah, there's a really noisy road across the river from me, and I can hear that, so certainly I'm sure you can hear that on here too. But I think if you get immersed enough in what you're doing, you just don't pay attention to that. You start to hear the cracking of snow under your feet, the little bit that is left, the leaves, the smells, the fact that there's a really bright moon. I got a couple of shots of the moon, not wildlife, at least as far as we know. There's no aliens on there. So, you know, the benefit for me of this is to get out into a forest by a river with a beautiful sunset and see how nicely it's setting back there. There's no real clouds to speak of to really light up, but that's okay. And then slowly walking around some of these old trees, to see if you can spot some treasure at the end of the journey. And if you don't, well, the journey was what was more important anyway. The treasure's great, sure. But if you don't find any, as long as you've enjoyed the journey, that's what's important. And certainly for clearing your head and helping you think bigger about the world, realizing that there's more to it than just yourself. I think that's really important. So that was a very long-winded way of saying I've not found any wildlife. I see a squirrel. I'm actually in quite a nice area that I've not been to before, so I'm gonna explore a little bit here. I haven't found wildlife, but I'm having a good time. And that's all that matters. Okay, I'll check in again in a little bit. So I've just come across a pileated woodpecker. I'll insert a couple of pictures here. And I'm going to keep shooting. And then I'll I'll fill you in on the rest when I can speak louder. Birds everywhere. So no sooner did I talk about the pileated woodpecker, within a few seconds he had decided to move on a little bit further into the forest, and I considered tracking him, and then two birds flew basically at my face. They're very domesticated birds here. I think they get fed a lot. So the black-capped chickadees and the downy woodpeckers in particular, they'll just land on your hand if you hold it out and they think there might be something there. So two downy woodpeckers then showed up and just played around right in front of me for quite some time. I got a little bit of video shortly before they decided to move on. I'm also looking, it's yeah, we've got all kinds of prints here, so I'm just going to show you some of the animal tracks as you just kind of wander through these little areas. Birds everywhere. You know, I spoke about the journey being, you know, the really great thing about these excursions, but the treasure's good at the end, and you know, sure enough, you walk around long enough and something magical happens. And so for me, I've seen a lot of downy woodpeckers. It's always special, but you know, I've seen a fair share of them. Pileated woodpeckers, that's only my second time. I saw some really unique behavior of a couple of them at Ricardo Ranch a few weeks ago, and that was the first time I'd seen a pileated woodpecker. Now I've seen two in the space of about 3 weeks. So yeah, this is the benefit of being out in these spaces and in nature. And just as I say that, here's the deer. I hope I got that in the shot. I just spun it around. I couldn't see the screen, so my apologies if I missed it. But yeah, here it is, just wandering through. There's a family. In fact, I see another two this way, so I'm going to take you this way. There's a family of seems about 6 or 7 of them in total. There was one. I see another 1, 2, 3 just ahead of me here. I'm going to go nice and slow. I'm going to talk nice and quiet so as not to freak them out. Yeah, another four that I see. I'm going to spin you around one more time. So there you go, 5, you know, really close together. I probably won't take any images, only because I was out with these deer just a week ago taking a bunch. So I'm going to let them do their thing. In fact, I think I've got 1 or 2 shots from last week that were okay. Maybe I'll put those in here right now, just so you can get a better sense as to the deer here. But yeah, this is about it. I'm getting close to the parking lot to wrap this up. I appreciate that I've been rambling again a little bit here, but sometimes I've got a lot to say, apparently. Okay, I'll do one more wrap-up video just towards the end here, and I'm going to see if I can spot any owls before I get there. So I mean, it's crazy. They just walked within 4 meters of me as I was crouched down. I did take a few shots. I know I said I wasn't going to. I did take a few. The 4 that just went by me, they're wandering on. There's another couple that I'm still tracking here, just watching them walk through the forest. I was clearly in their way. I think I must have ended up on a path where they were walking towards me. So I just stood by a tree and let them, walk by. If they want to walk by me, that's fine. Certainly got no objection to that. I'm not going to walk towards them, obviously. This is their hood, not mine. But yeah, what an experience. Pileated woodpecker, downy woodpecker, white-capped chickadee landed on my hand. A bunch of deer wandering through and getting very comfortably close. Clearly they've seen a lot of people. And great, just a great evening. You can hear the birds, it's wild. I will do probably one more wrap-up video, but yeah, just goes to show what a unexpected experience you can have when you just go out on a whim and try to take some photographs. All right, so it's getting a little darker now. I got interrupted a bit by a fellow photographer who was shooting a Nikon Z7 with an adapter from the F mount to Z mount lenses, and we got chatting about autofocus, the usual shooting birds and wildlife in a park and running into other photographers. So anyway, nice guy. Didn't have an Instagram handle or anything, so I can't link to any of his images, but yeah, he's here quite a bit apparently. Anyway, so to wrap up, beautiful sunset. Some nice, it's hard to see through the clouds or through the trees, but the clouds are pink and orange. I did actually bring my 50mm 1.8, and I brought my 16 to 35 lens as well, just in case. But honestly, by the end, I just got very comfortable shooting wildlife. So anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. You've seen what I managed to get, or you will by the time you've seen the end of this video. Again, the journey was so incredible, even without the wildlife at the end there. So thank you for following along. If you haven't, please subscribe, please comment, please like, the usual YouTube stuff, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.